Welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, this is Robert Reynolds. Got Keon over there, got Dan down below, and welcoming back my guy Kobe, King Kobe. It looked like he lost a little bit of weight there, man. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up, fellas? How are y'all?
I'm doing good. How about y'all?
Alive, baby, alive and ready for football.
Well, I'm glad you're not dead talking. That'd be weird, but
That'd
here
be
we are.
That'd
Let's do this, guys. The show obviously brought to y'all by Alumni Hall. That's where the dog fans shop, guys. Y'all know this every time. I hope y'all enjoyed Tennessee Tech Saturday in Athens. Belt to ass as we expected. Not going to go too far into this though. Was glad to see a lot of guys playing. It's one of the one times you'll get to see a lot of these guys playing. Any quick thoughts, any quick takeaways before we go into this Kentucky preview?
Yeah. Good showing. Got the dub. Deuces, but overall, thought the offense was firing. Carson coming out there trying to make plays early. Love that. Scoring early. But overall, like the way how the team played.
I thought it was just nice to see Trevor Etienne get a little run right there, just get a little lather, worked into it, and kind of get a basic idea of how they're going to use him, and to see his explosiveness. I just thought it was really nice to see.
Yeah, and I just thought that we all forget it's hard to get up for these games. I thought it was a good job by the coaching staff, good job by the players, good job by the fans. I mean, you could easily lull your way into a closer game. I thought we'd come out, we fire on all cylinders, we played aggressively on defense, we hit some shots on offense. Special teams made a big play early on to kind of get that first touchdown. I thought they really rode that into halftime, and then Kirby, hit the brakes a little bit, put some second strings in. We shortened the fourth quarter. He knew, he knows, they knew. I mean, we had better players. Every time I feel like when you hear the coach say that's the most impressive team I've seen in all my years of coaching on a field, like he was ready to get out of there. He understood what was going on. He was, thanks for my 1.4. We're heading back to Tennessee. We'll see y'all in a couple years for another check.
Right.
One of the things that I want to talk about was, very quickly was I felt like, to be fair, we won 48-3, but I felt like not all of it was up to standard, if you will, right? I think offensive line could have done better. However, this is also a situation where I think you knew you were going to win anyway. So how much do you really take away, right, from that? How much do you critique it? But also, shout out to Drew Bobo catching a damn body. Do y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
I know Coach Bobo was up in the press box getting a good one there.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy to see that because to me, Drew was kind of a bubble recruit. I think a lot of people thought coming out of high school, like, oh, he's probably not a take if Mike's not coming on to the staff, all that. I think he has really progressed into a really good center, really good offensive lineman. Obviously I know we've kind of cross-trained Tate into being the center if something were to happen, but I mean, I feel very comfortable with the fact that Drew Bobo could play center for the Dawgs.
Yeah, no, I thought he had a really good showing. That was something that stood out to me, was just him catching a body like that. I thought that was fun to watch. Other than that, though, Carson Beck, it looked like things were smoothing out. Nothing to really nitpick about too much, right? Like, started off strong, kind of slowed down a little bit, and then you got Gunner in. Did let Gunner operate the offense. I thought there was some good, some bad, not necessarily much bad, really, and just go from there. But I think everybody good on Tennessee Tech before we move on to this Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little to nitpick. I mean, you could say maybe they didn't block a couple plays exactly right, and then we stalled out in the red zone. What, once, maybe twice? Just once, right? So I mean,
I think we got one field goal. Yeah.
If you wanted to nitpick it, you could do that. But I mean, all in all, like Kobe said, these are hard to get up for, and I thought they did about as good as you could possibly do.
Yeah, I mean, and also literally a last-second field goal to stop the shutout, if you will. from a Georgia perspective, ain't much you can sit there and be complaining about. Perfect weather. Kobe, did you go? You went there, didn't you? Yeah. So I'm sure it was a little bit warmer, but I mean, at the same time, it was perfect weather.
New construction has our seats in the shade much earlier in the day,
nice.
So we are chilling.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. By the way, it was cool to hear about the Claude Felton dedicating the press box there. Thought that was cool to hear. Also, again, we're not in the 92s anymore, guys. We are 93,000 capacity. So we're moving on up in those capacity rankings, if you will. But let's change our focus here on Kentucky. I don't really know how to say about this, but looking ahead to this game, going to be up Kentucky, you go to Kroger Field. Kobe, you've played at Kroger Field. I think, I don't know. To be fair, you've probably played later in the season. Feels like it's pretty early for a Kentucky game. I think the weather may have changed a little bit. I know at one point it was calling for a lot of rain, and now you're starting to hear this kind of backtracking where it might not be as much of a percentage for rain. Genuinely speaking, I don't think the weather is going to have an impact on this that much. It could, but I just don't think so. The result is what I'm meaning. I think it's going to be nasty. Let's do this. I want to ask your opinion though, Kobe. What's it like playing at Kroger Field? What would you expect if you're going up there to Kroger Field?
Yeah, I would say the times we've been up there, I mean, we played some pretty intense games up there. 2018 comes to mind. SEC East on the line, a trip to the SEC championship game on the line. Kentucky fans were hype. It was loud. It was a good game. Physical. They're, like Coach always says, physical on the offensive line, physical on the defensive line. Like they play a very physical brand of football. I mean, they have a top 15 pick at on the defensive line right now. Very impressive. Very impressive gentleman. So I would say that last week probably took a lot of air out of those tires a little bit. I mean, I still think it's going to be a pretty physical game, but I think anytime you not only lose to South Carolina, because listen, it's college football. People lose football games. They're not supposed to lose all the time. But it was disheartening in the way they lost. I thought they were dominated on both sides of the ball. The offense didn't look like it could get anything going. The quarterback play was questionable at best. To lose in that way to a coach that a lot of people thought was on his way out of the SEC, it just kind of can make you have some questions. And listening to Coach Stoops, I think on his Monday post-practice presser, he was like, I'm just really disappointed in the way our team is responding to this loss. I think that says a lot. I think that's on the coaching, and that's kind of on the way college football is these days. These guys are teetering on just giving up, packing it up, heading to the house after week 2. You're only 1-1. I mean, there's still a lot of year left to play.
Absolutely. We got the brigade coming in hot and heavy. Earl in the Earl Klein on Facebook. Got Keon posted up in the X, if you will. Star Wars Dog saying, "Hey y'all, what is going on, Star Wars?" And to Neil, good evening. Welcome back. It's been a while. Dan, I want to ask Dan or Keon, whoever. I want to get y'all's thoughts from a high level, and then we'll break this down. When y'all think of Kentucky, I know we've kind of talked about, like Kobe said, very physical game. We've seen this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all's thoughts on this game Saturday? I mean,
so this game is going on at Kroger Field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So Kirby Smart and the self-checkout boys are about to roll through Athens. We're about to roll through, leaving from Athens. And it's going to be belt to ass. I mean, there's not many other ways to say this. We are going to jump out very early, very fast. It's going to be a good game to see. We're going to go through the whole motions of the roster. I mean, y'all have already been seeing so far. But I think it's going to be a good game.
Very quick, very fast. It's about to be belt to ass. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Self-checkout boys.
From a high level, when I think of Kentucky, I think of competitive games for the most part when it's up in their place. And I always think it seems like it's always either really cold or really bad weather, and that kind of neutralizes it. And for whatever reason, and I could be wrong, I tend to remember games that we thought that we were going to be in complete control, that we actually had a fight. And, we didn't. I remember a game where it was all on the ground and we just pulled one out. Maybe that was 2018 that you're talking about, Kobe. I'm not 100% sure, but there was one where the game was in doubt late in the game, and we were able to pull it out. I saw that Georgia's a 24-point favorite, or 24 and a half, or whatever the case may be. And I wonder about that, because those games just tend to be a lot more competitive. And especially if there's rain, I don't see us have the ability to really air it out and really stretch it out. And I think that's where our advantage would be in the air, right? If you're going to stretch it out that way. But, Kentucky screwed us. They lost to South Carolina. Game day was supposed to be going there, and now they're not, because they lost a football game. So we don't get that exposure from game day. I don't know what exactly to think, because that offense looked atrocious in last week. I really don't know what to expect. I just, for whatever reason, history tells me this is going to be closer than people think. But I hope Keon is right, where it's going to be belt to ass. I would love to see that.
I'm looking at it this way. I think, based off of South Carolina, I'm not judging everything off of that, but I will say, if you watch them play Southern Miss, I think it was, the offensive line is a major problem for them, and it's definitely not what you would expect from a Mark Stoops coach team this year so far. And and I think Tennille's also saying that it'll be fun to play against Brock Vandegrift, and obviously that's you're looking at Brock and Pop Johnson, right? Two dogs that are there now, and I'm sure it will be fun. But I guarantee you, when it comes to schematics, I think I think Kirby and them will dial up some stuff to really I wouldn't say expose, but make it uncomfortable for Brock defensively. And then offensively, I think you might be able to attack that, just because I think, we kind of have an idea what Pop is, right? Ultimately, I just think, and Star Wars Dog says they think he's going to be pushing 400 yards on the ground if it rains, especially. I don't know about that. I think that's obviously an exaggeration or a stretch. I think, generally speaking, I think you'll see us hit the air. I'm kind of with that. I think you're going to see Georgia play Georgia football. I think you're going to see a balance, but I think you'll see efficiency. And I think if that is the case, then we're going to be sitting here next week and just talking about exactly what we think is about to happen.
I think the biggest concern is the issues that I saw against South Carolina aren't fixable in a week's time. I think that would be what would worry me if I was a Kentucky fan. Like, I watched some games, in college football, like LSU, USC, some games kind of more in that vein, where, you lose a close game, it really just kind of doesn't fall your way. There are some key plays here or there that maybe could have affected the outcome of the game. I really thought that the way Kentucky's offense looked, the way it operated, just is not something I feel like they can make this huge leap forward in 6 days, especially when you're considering you're not only going to make, hopefully, a leap forward offensively, but you're also now playing a much, much better defense that has all that film from this past week. So things only get tougher as the season progresses. When you're not able to kind of figure things out and jump ahead on teams early, it only gets harder to kind of get your feet back underneath you.
I definitely think it was interesting too. If you go back and watch that game, there were plays where now this kid's a freak, by the way, but Dylan Stewart from South Carolina had that offensive line in hell, buddy. He had them in hell.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll say it. I'm actually kind of happy that we don't have to play these guys for the next 2 years, so he can go ahead and get up out of there. That guy, he was coming screaming off of that edge.
What if I told you we'll have to play him as a junior
if he stays?
I'll ask you what school he'll be playing at.
Right, and because he's definitely gonna. Ohio State ringing. Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's
No, Star Wars says he believes that Kirby wants to desperately run the ball on an elite level. Yes, but I think at the same time, it comes with good coordinating when you give or when you take what is given to you, right? Sometimes the game plan doesn't call for 400 yards on the ground. Sometimes it's got to be one of those, hey, they're going to give us, right? Look at, if you go back to Texas and Michigan, this is a perfect example. Cover 3, right? Just sitting there taking check downs, things like this, the whole game. Just living in second and short, second, and you know what I'm saying? Things like that are ways to win the game because, again, sometimes game plans don't call for running the ball all that much. Likewise, on the contrary, sometimes you just have to run the ball to win the game.
You know what my game plan would be?
Power.
Throw me the craziest white boy you got, slap him in a cowboy collar, put him at fullback, and run the old Todd Gurley toss, the lead toss that used to run when Bobo was here, the original.
Under center toss sweep. Whew.
I could watch that
man.
24 times, I think, on Saturday and be perfectly
content.
Kobe saying Chaz Chambliss needs to put the cowboy collar on.
Just let Chaz just scream eagle at some linebacker at Pop Johnson.
Give me Dirty Dan. Give me Dirty Dan.
He's too
what about Cash Jones? What about Cash Jones in a cowboy collar?
Give me 4 walk-ons that don't care about their body, and you just checking them in and out.
I need to know what Keon was laughing about. My Lord. Nobody just straight lost it.
Because as soon as you... No, it's all good. We'll keep it moving.
Anyways, I think this is going to be a good game to kind of – let's see. I think this is a game that you can attack the edges. I think it's also – listen, I think this is a game where you balance – you have the opportunity to exploit a lot of different deficiencies. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Guys, I do want to bring this up beforehand. The first injury report came out, if you're not aware, tonight, actually. Did y'all know that? I've got to ask Kobe about this. You played, so I want to hear your thoughts first, and then we can all touch on this if you'd like. What are your thoughts on the mandatory injury report?
I mean, it didn't change a lot. I mean, like you're saying, he basically came out and it's like these 5 people are week to week or doubtful. I mean, I think I saw Mike Hill got downgraded doubtful. And I don't know. I think that if you're Kentucky, you can realize after watching week 1 and week 2 that Mike Hill is not going to play. It's not just some top secret thing. And sometimes that just is in such the forefront of the head coach's mind, which is fine. I completely understand the little bit of secrecy in that. But, it is what it is. I think I've seen people joke. We have 85 questionable players this week. I'm really surprised that wasn't.
It was only 5.
Yeah,
only
but
5
I'm just saying,
here, we'll read here.
But to hide who's really questionable, just every scholarship player questionable this week.
We'll do this. I'll read off the injury report.
I'm just surprised Kirby hasn't done that yet.
So we'll read off the injury report for both teams. I see WA1W is asking if Oscar's okay, and hopefully this will answer your question. Georgia has Roderick Robinson listed as out. Michael Williams is doubtful. Jordan Hall, Xavier McLeod, and Warren Brinson all as questionable. Then it gets interesting because you got Kentucky. And I think this is honestly going to be a situation where Keys to Victory is about to explain this. DeMonte Traynham, running back, is out. You've got Hardley Gilmore, the 4th receiver. Devin Smith, Darian Henry Young, Cortland Ford, Tavion Gadsden, Josiah Hayes, all out. Jason Patterson is a running back, doubtful. Jagger Burton, O-line is doubtful. And then you've got one questionable, Brandon White, receiver. 3 probable, Maxwell Harrison, Keyshawn Silver, Gerald Mincy. That's a long list.
So
a long list.
So the best way how I break that down, everybody that's out, they out. Everybody that's doubtful, they also out. People who are probable, they're a game time decision. That's how
questionable. Same way.
I was surprised to see Oscar not on that list, to be completely honest. With the way he came off the field, and we had a question right there: is Oscar okay? And by all accounts, he is okay because he's not on the injury report. And if he doesn't play, then Kirby will get in trouble for that. Right?
I think Kirby mentioned in one of the pressers this week that he could have came back in, but they held him. They cut him at half basically to let him sit him for the half.
I'll say this: when he walked back onto the field after halftime, he was still dressed, but he was in tennis shoes. But he had no extra bracing on the ankle. He didn't have an ankle brace
really
on,
good,
a boot, high tape, anything like that. And he walked without a noticeable limp. Obviously, it's Tennessee Tech. Your starting tight end goes out, even if he thinks his ankle's hurting a little bit. I'm not the man that's going to ask him to go back in. There's just no reason.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sarwer says he thinks – so I think we're going back to Kirby Smart. Thinks he's confident in the passing attack, but he feels like before Bama, he is going to put an emphasis on batting down the run game. Again, I think Kirby – and they can say what they want. Kobe, you've been in these locker rooms before. I think with Kentucky, I do think, they're not looking too far ahead, but part of me thinks that they might be, and then you also got that bye week. So I think what it might be, and see if I'm wrong here, you're playing to kind of finish this game off, right? You're playing to win this game, and then you're taking that whole week and you're starting prepping and recovery. I'd say that bye week is probably a recovery emphasis, and along with prep, if that makes sense, is combined.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to speak on. We never had 2 bye weeks while I played. We only had the week before Florida, and at that point, season was halfway over. We were dying to get there. We're taking Monday off where it's a lot of rest and recovery. I'm not really sure and kind of curious how the staff will handle it after only 3 weeks. Will they take a long weekend? Will they get Monday off? Will they come in and, just do a walkthrough on Monday, no practice? Will they start on Alabama immediately? Typically in years past, the bye week before Florida hasn't really been Florida focused. It's more been in the years when Georgia Tech was running triple option, it was very Georgia Tech focused. But it's a look ahead at maybe some specific scheming issues that we may have coming down the road. If we don't like the way Texas is running an unusual defense. They're just an example, not that I'm making up, not really, but if they run a 3-3 stack, we may take 2 days and practice the 3-3 stack because we don't see it the rest of the year. Getting those reps at that point in time just makes it so it's not brand new later down the road. I would imagine they're going to take Monday, maybe not completely off, but maybe a light walkthrough, come in, do Tuesdays and shells, and then Wednesday will be a Tuesday practice, Thursday will be a Tuesday practice, Friday probably will be in shells to a walkthrough, and then they'll come back on Monday and basically start on Alabama.
I was about to say I think they will fly out Friday, won't they? So they would have a practice in shells and then fly out.
This is the bye week I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about bye week. Sorry, excuse me, my bad. I got you. For some reason, my mind was ready for this game, guys. I'm so ecstatic for this game just because it starts out SEC play too. Obviously, when you're looking at the injury report, that's obviously the telltale. Let's do this. Let's jump into these keys to what. Hold on, Dan. What's up?
I was just gonna say we kind of really glossed over that Kentucky offense really, really fast, and I want to know, was anybody else a little bit stunned by how poorly Brock played? Because I anticipated Brock was going to be really good, and I was absolutely floored at how poorly he played. And I understand there were there were circumstances that led to that. His offensive line didn't really do much, and he didn't have help in other places. But I didn't know what did you expect? Because that's the first time we really got to see Brock in a competitive game where he was taking it whistle to whistle. And I was disappointed. I had high hopes, and
It looked like he saw ghosts, man. I think with the fact that he got pressured as much as he did, he played rattled like he even got put out of the game and the backup came in. And it was like, and I don't know if it was because of like just poor performance or what, but like old buddy was like rattled. It looked terrible. Like they couldn't move the ball. I felt like they couldn't move now they did do some things of running the game, but it wasn't nowhere close what they need to be. If y'all saw more of the game, feel free to talk about it, but he was pressured on almost all of his dropbacks.
No, I just saw the highlights.
Yeah, I'm with Dan. I think that I was really surprised. I've known Brock quite a while. He dates one of my close family friends, so I've known him while he was at Georgia, known him for quite some time. I know they were really excited about him going up to Kentucky. I was really excited for him. Fresh start. I think one of the hard things is it's so hard to put yourself in real game scenarios, even at practice at a place like Georgia, even in a spring, even in an off-season scrimmage. Like when the lights are on and you haven't been the starting quarterback on a team in 4 years, it is just hard. I mean, bullets are flying. Like you say, Dylan Stewart is breathing down your neck constantly. That is definitely something that's kind of in the back of your mind of like, I have to get this football out of here right now. And I just always worry about the pressure of a transfer quarterback like that, where you kind of hand the keys over to Kentucky and you go, please, Brock, save us. Like, you're this 5-star quarterback. We want you to be this great quarterback. We have solid playmakers here. If you can figure it all out, Kentucky could be better than we've been the past 4 or 5 years. That's just a lot of pressure on a guy that's only been there for a short amount of time. He's still kind of figuring out.
Months.
Yeah. Still figuring out what kind of leader he is, what kind of football player he is. I mean, he's not the same football player he was at 18. What does starting SEC quarterback Brock Vandagriff look like? And then Kentucky, to me, struggled to take some of that pressure off of him. They didn't run the ball well. They didn't give him a lot of time. They didn't let him make some easy throws. I thought, like we're talking about, get him into a good rhythm, some play action pass, some short intermediate routes. They were asking him to do a lot.
Let's see. Star Wars asked, do we predict a high or low scoring game? We'll save that. We'll definitely save that. We've got our picks for the week, and the Georgia game is in there. So we will keep that question locked and loaded because it's coming. Like Shannon Sharp earlier. Just going to let that be known.
Damn it, boy.
I had to do it. It was right there. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It was there. Anyways, moving on. Let's do this. Let's bring up our keys to victory, guys. We'll go around the table here. What are the keys to victory for Georgia this Saturday night in Lexington?
I think being aggressive offensively, taking advantage of what the defense gives you. That's Carson, of course, taking some shots downfield. What's up?
I was just posting up. Yeah. Be sure to hit that like button, guys. That's all.
Yeah. But taking some deep shots downfield. Really just Bobo coming out with an aggressive game plan. Just like y'all said, years past, we played Kentucky. It's been close, right? But I think our defense needs to come out and be firing on all cylinders and put pressure to them. I mean, we just saw that last week. We just saw how everything pans out for them when you put a lot of pressure on them. So I think if we can reapply that again this week for us, I think we'll come out victorious.
I was just going to say pretty much the same thing. Defensively, we need to turn the ball over, keep pressure on them, make them operate quicker than they want to, and just don't let them relax. Don't let them experience any success. One of the old cliches that I remember from a long time ago was, if you let a team hang around long enough, they'll start to believe they can actually win the football game. So don't let them hang around. Don't let them have success. Just knock them in the mouth. Turn them over if you can, and then you have to be able to capitalize on turnovers and good field position. I think Georgia needs to establish the running game. I know that's something that they want to do. We've talked about that a little bit already, but just pound them, and just use your depth because Kentucky doesn't have the same depth that you have.
Yeah, I think keys to the game, easy one. It's going to be sloppy. Ball's going to be wet. Field's going to be wet. Whole thing, ball control. Keeping the ball off the ground, making sure that we have good ball control. Nothing can make a lesser team be in a game than turnover ratio. All of a sudden, you hand off, 2-3 turnovers. You're going to make a game that should not be close a lot closer, a lot quicker. You're going to give a team, like Dan saying, a team some hope, a little bit of fire, a little bit of spark. I'm here to say Kentucky is not as bad as I think we all think they are. Maybe as bad as they showed. Kirby sure doesn't think so. He's talked about it. Games up there, there's just, it's not like Jordan Hare. It's not something under the water, something under the field, some witchcraft. But like games at Kroger Field are tough, physical football games, and if you go up there and think we're just going to walk through them, I think you're wrong. I think that it's going to be probably tight at half. You're going to pull away in the third quarter, and tight at half. Maybe it's a 14-point game, but still, I think that you got to keep the ball, force a turnover or two. I think you just can't get in your own way. I still think you're the best team in college football by far. So
I've got 4 words. And I guarantee you none of y'all can explain or guess what I'm about to say.
Quick, fast,
That
Delta
shit
ass.
is ass.
No. Have a nice flight. Make it there, you beat their ass. Simple enough. Bring a belt. No, in all seriousness, though, I do think coming away injury-free is going to be key for this, right? You do have the bye week after this game, but I can't help but think about 2020, I think it is, when we played Kentucky and lost like 5 starters in that one game. And that's just an epitome of this game. When it comes to Kentucky, it's always physical. The scoreboard says one thing, but then you look at your roster and you're like, damn, we're 5 guys down. You know what I'm saying? You gotta play healthy or be healthy. But I think efficiency is another word too. Play efficient. Kobe, you talked about ball security, things like that, which is obvious. But I think that kind of plays into it as well. Be efficient. Don't turn the ball over. There should be no reason. And that at that point, if you're efficient, you should easily walk out of Kroger Field with a dub, heading into the bye week, prepping for Bama. So there is that. Guys,
can I get a Cole Spear touchdown?
Oh,
give me a Cole Spear touchdown.
Speaking of touchdowns, I'm going to do this. So we have another installation of Hytoff's over-unders for the Kentucky game, guys. We do. But first things first, let's go to the over-under standings. Let's see. Keon, Dan, all 3 of us went 1-4 last week, by the way. All of us went 1-4.
Sorry.
Woo! Teamwork.
I mean, listen, we all picked the over, and it turned out to be a lot of unders. A lot of unders there. But this week is going to be a little bit different, what it sounds like. First things first, Harry Leggy, what is going on? It's Neil back in the building. It sounds like he's got a beer or a potent potable, if you will. So I'm not necessarily mad about that. Pain, misery, and defeat delivered to Kroger Field. I'll take it.
Self-checkout, boys.
Is that what you're going to call them now, Keon?
Yeah. We're the self-checkout boys. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, here's Hytoff's over-unders for week 3. It's a little bit tricky, guys. These are all touchdown over-unders here, okay? So we'll do this right here. First things first, Trevor Etienne. Does Trevor Etienne go over a half a touchdown? Does he get a rushing touchdown?
Absolutely.
Be specific.
Absolutely.
Keon is going over.
I'll take the over.
Dan is going over.
I'm also going over.
I think that is unanimous. Trevor Etienne will get a rushing touchdown. Let's move on to Nate Frazier. Same over-under for Nate Frazier. Does Nate Frazier get a rushing touchdown?
He's going to get a rushing touchdown and do the bow again. Yes, sir.
Oh, he gonna do his bow?
I'm going to go
so
under.
So hold on. So we've got Keon with the over. We've got Dan with the under.
Under.
Kobe with the under. Man, it's got to be a rushing touchdown.
Actually, wait a second. Pull that graphic back up. Wait, because I got to look at the graphic.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, no, they all can't get rushing touchdowns. Yeah, no, hit the under, matter of fact.
You going under on Nate Frazier, so you have switched.
Yes.
As always, Keon will switch. It is what it is.
I got it. I got the opportunity here. We're doing this now. We're picking them out.
Should lock it in, man. Make you lock it in and stay true to accountability. But here we are.
I would have probably stuck with the under.
Listen. So we've talked about Trevor Etienne, dude. I'm telling you right now, I'll be the lone wolf. I don't give a damn. Give me the over on Nate Frazier. Give me the over on Nate Frazier. Now, next one is Branson Robinson. Does Branson Robinson get a rushing touchdown?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll take the over on that. I think he'll get a goal line carry.
Yeah, literally at the 3-yard line.
Guys, I'm telling you, the 3 words for this game, the motto is belt to ass. What better way to put belt to ass than 3 different running backs getting a rushing touchdown? Hit the over on that too. Give me that. Give me that.
And I think if Frazier's was over 1 touchdown, I think I'd be in for it, but it's the rushing part that I think puts the little bit of a question mark for me.
Listen, I'm optimistic. I don't care. Dominic Lovett. Does Dominic Lovett get a receiving touchdown, gentlemen?
I'm going to go with under.
Yes.
Hold on. So let's see. Keon, you're saying over.
Yep.
And Kobe, you just went under.
Yep.
Dan. Man, that's his favorite target. I don't know, but I think Colby Young is the goal line guy, so I'll go under, but I hope I'm wrong.
I think the tight ends are due some love.
I think so. Lawson Lucky. I think Oscar Delp gets some love too. I'm going under on this one specifically. I think what you're going to see is a heavy dose of setting the tone, run the ball, get down into the red zone, and run that fucking football right into a face mask.
I think we all know that the tight end on linebacker matchup in the passing game is going to be something you can exploit this week.
By the way, I feel like this is also – I think Nate Frazier or Trevor Etienne going to get a home run house call. I just get this feeling about it.
Do y'all think that this is going to be like one of those games where when it comes to us throwing the ball, it's mostly going to be to our tight ends more than anything?
Possible. I mean, they're basically a great value Georgia.
We'll move past that. But do y'all think, as a unit, right, this is more of a fantasy football question?
It's hard to say that, Keon, because Carson Beck does such a great job of spreading the ball out. He is the Matt Ryan. I mean, he it's like 10 different guys touch the football. So it's hard to say that somebody's going to go off because you don't know who the guy's going to be. You lean towards Dominic Lovett because he's got such a rapport with him. But, the next one over under is Bell. And I could 100% see him catching a touchdown because he's the big body.
Can I interject here?
Carson really likes this whole sharing.
Can I interject this? Keon, you said that. I want to interject. I had a hot take last week. I said 15 receivers would get at least 1 target. Guess how many got 1 target?
13.
15.
Oh.
15 at least had 1. I'm the fucking man. Anyways, no, you're not. I mean, and Dan, you talked about it, right? You don't really know who to go to because there's just such a distribution pattern here. It can be, like Colby Young had 1 last week. He always had 2 this season already. And I'm not mad at all about it, right? Last one for the over-unders. Dylan Bell. Does Dylan Bell get a receiving touchdown?
Yes.
Yeah, I said
Keon with the over. Dan with the over. Kobe with the over. I'm going under, and simply because I do think Kobe is right. I think the tight ends will get a lot of love here. I do.
I think he does. I think he does get one, mostly because I do feel like out of all of the wide receivers, that Dylan Bell is his favorite target. Like that is.
Oh, I think you're not wrong, but I feel like a London Humphrey's about to take another touchdown from somebody. Think about this.
If you were to say one, if you were to say only one receiving touchdown, who gets it? I would go Young.
I could see that, but I think what I could see possibly happening is I think a tight end, but then if I'm going anything else, I honestly could see London Humphreys on a crossing route to expose the linebackers. Just it literally feels like Clemson slightly again.
It's just so hard to pick these today, not knowing the weather. I think that's a big. Yeah. I mean, like obviously, if you listen to this, like this is happening Wednesday night. The weather is going to be a huge deterrent. Like if it's raining and we're trying to run the ball, they're going to be playing 8 to 9 man boxes.
It's in Lexington, correct?
It's going to be dirty work. Tight ends on linebackers if they're in.
Oh no rain on Saturday.
So
in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yes.
It's
changed. I've seen reports.
Show me.
I mean, it's here and there. I've seen it both ways.
Hold on. We're for those watching. Hold on. We're gonna do this. Wait.
Right. Hold on.
That awkward silence is Keon showing a real-time prediction forecast for Saturday. So Chief Meteorologist Keon K, definitely showing us all the goods there. Can't be mad about that. So
it's going to be cold. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, basically.
It's going to rain.
For those on podcast,
it's going to rain.
All right, Cleveland. He hit me hard, George. No, in all seriousness,
and Keon with today's
podcast.
I hope you wrote these over and unders down.
Oh no, we got that covered. Mr. Hytoff takes care of that, so we're good. We're good. No, so I do want to make sure that the podcast listeners understand that awkward silence was actually Keon showing off the weather. I wish Keon would have commentated like a chief meteorologist said he is. However, I put him on the spot.
Reporting live from Lexington, Kentucky right now for the current projection for Saturday, you'd be looking at a good 60 going on to 75 degrees, mostly around noon. Then the temperature is going to proceed to increase, then slightly decline, coming at around 6 o'clock. No rain is in sight. Play ball. All right? Kirby Smart and the self-checkout boys. Go Dawgs.
You hear me?
You hear me? Back to you in studio.
All right. So first things first, we've got 339 people watching. Make sure to fucking smash that like button for that job right there. That was epic. We might have to do this every week. Get a forecast for the game day forecast. I'm just letting that be known.
I can do that. Give you a weather report.
Harry Leggy says 20% chance of rain. We'll see, guys. And I think Tanil did mention something about a hurricane coming in from Louisiana might be the determinant factor on the rain or not. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, if I think Kobe, you mentioned the ball being wet or the ground being wet. So I do think ball security is going to be a thing here. But at the same time, I still say
a hurricane in Louisiana is about to determine game day for us in Kentucky.
Yeah, the rain pushes up. Do you not know how hurricanes work?
It's heading this way.
Me? That storm that hit
Saturday in Athens because of
it. Shit, no. Sometimes them shit had weast. Because let me tell you, during the Tennessee game, that shit. Sometimes that shit is weast. You okay? Remember when that storm rolled through Athens during the Tennessee game? That shit started here in Dallas.
Oh, trust me.
First time I'd have ever seen like a true downpour, and they were talking about look out for tornadoes and shit.
But if it wouldn't have rained, the game would have been totally different, Keon.
Yeah. I mean, would have cursed out.
Harry says he's in the hurricane in Destin. Interesting. Be careful.
Like I'm
don't go to
sorry
the beach.
that you're in the hurricane, but I'm extremely jealous that you're in Destin. So,
I mean, they're in Florida. If he's from Florida, those people don't care
man,
about
I'm
that.
telling you, Destin is one
They're
of the most
probably
beautiful
he's at a
places on
party
earth.
right now. Like that's what they do. They have hurricane. That's no bullshit, and he knows it.
Did you about to say
They
hurricane?
legit have hurricane
He
parties.
damn
They have
sure did.
hurricane watch parties.
Hurricane.
Right.
Yes, he did. Oh no, Keon about to get caught.
This
You
thing
about
had
got
got off the rails.
we pulling it back in. All right, over unders for the week. Those are your
See.
over unders for the week. Keon, calm
We
down.
have rain and winds. He's drinking. I'm telling you.
We had the game. Hell, we had over unders and we had a game day prediction on the forecast. I like that. I do. Oh my word.
Not
Guys.
anything to sweat. Like I tell you, he's having the time of his life in this house.
Boys,
They're just gonna wait it out.
let's do this. We're gonna do a quick shout out to our guys over at Alumni Hall, and then we're gonna get into the DGD Pickem picks of the week and the best bets for the week. But first things first, guys. I hope you came there. Hope you went there Saturday. Alumni Hall in Athens, Georgia. Guys, get your jerseys, get your shirts, get your polos. Get ready for fall if you need it. Fire pits, they got it. All right. Everything is licensed. So go there, go to Alumni Hall, go in store, and let them know that we sent you. The DGD podcast sent you. And you will get 10% off your entire order. But you got to do that. Now, you can also go to dgdpodcast.com and shop Alumni Hall through our website. If you do that, 8% will go to the Classic City Collective, but you won't get the 10%. The 10% is in store only. But to be fair, it's football time in Athens, and that means get yourself geared up with Alumni Hall. Thanks, Alumni Hall, for sponsoring for the show. Love doing business with those folks. I'm just going to leave that right there. Guys, we had an interesting couple weeks. Last week was interesting. Let's do this. Here's the standings through week 2. All right, through week 2. This is all right. Dan is 25-5 with 33 points, leading the way. Right, leading the way, and then followed up by the Brigade. And I want to preface this because this probably makes me and Keon look silly. Yes, we're losing to my son. He has given the Brigade 3 points 3 times in a row. Week 0, week 1, week 2. My son knows football better than me. I guess I have to admit that. And if you knew how he got these picks right, it would baffle your brain.
Oh, Jesus.
But he looks at the animals. I'm just saying.
Did you?
No.
Just saying. It is what it is.
Dan, we're just. I swear to God.
Anyways, Kobe and Juan are 21-9 with 25 points. And me and Keon, I put you last for a reason. We are 20-10 with 22 points each. Dan was laughing. Why's he laughing?
Facebook comment.
Okay, that's a good one. Ooh.
We're gonna move all the way.
No, we're about to let democracy decide. Do we read? All right. Do we read this comment and let the podcast folks in on it?
Leaving this shit.
I'm out on that.
Okay, we'll let it be. We'll hold off. There's so many people. Oh no. All right, keep that to ourselves. Focus, folks. Focus. All right, let's do the weeks.
So Cole Spear catching the touchdown pass.
We're not being elite right now. I'm sorry. I'm not being elite. We got to fix that.
Come on, Brock Vandergriff. We got to get in this.
If only Juan Daniels was here to save the day, Kobe. I'm just saying. He would help us be elite. All right, guys. First game of the week. Y'all ready for this?
Oh, shit.
Texas A&M going to the swamp and taking on those Gators.
All right, so
Florida.
We as Georgia fans, this should be unanimous, right? Like we should all be in an agreement, right?
Give me the fighting Jimbo Fishers.
Wow.
Dan going with the Gators.
Wow.
And listen, I think I can understand a little bit here because I chose Texas A&M. However, I think if Billy Napier starts DJ Lagway, they win that football game.
Yep.
But here's the but. Hold on, Dan. Do you trust Billy Napier enough to not fuck this up? I do not. That buddy will fuck it up. I've got the Aggies on the road. Now, listen, if I come in here and wrong, I'm just saying. Just saying. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Dan. Why did you choose the Gators?
I have developed a real disdain for Texas A&M, primarily because of Jimbo Fisher. I can't stand his ass, and I understand he's not the coach there anymore. So I don't know. It's just a hangover. I hate freaking Texas A&M right now, and the game's at home. And DJ Lagway looked impressive. I think he's legit. And Florida's. I mean, listen, it's one of our favorite pastimes to shit on Florida. Okay, I mean, it just is, and I don't disagree with any of that. But the game's at home, and I'm interested in winning, so I took Florida.
Well, then, that was interesting. I guess we have the cultists beating the Gators. So there's that. Brigade also going for Texas A&M here. Next matchup, guys, this turned out to be a low-key interesting matchup. You got number 24, Boston College, rolling into number 6, Missouri. Guys, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what happened here. Everyone went Mizzou. Now, Mizzou is the only team in FBS that has not given up a point yet. Now, to be fair, they have not they haven't played anybody. Kobe, you about to say something?
I mean, I think Boston College is going to score. I think this game is going to be a high-scoring affair. I just think Missouri has a better team, even in that battle. I think Boston College looked good against Florida State. I think that Florida State is a failing program right now. So to say that Boston College is a top 25 team based on that win alone, I'm not sure that I believe. Definitely not enough to pick them to go to Missouri and win.
Yeah, I think Missouri can get after the quarterback and honestly get to him and keep him uncomfortable. I do like that quarterback, by the way, for Boston College. And I think we're about to see just how much of a fraud Florida State is, because I think Missouri handles this game fairly easily. But we'll see. We see. Harry, to my disdain, says that Boston College will cover. That'll be fun to see.
What's the spread on this?
That I don't know.
I think it's like 17.5 Missouri.
If you give me a second, I'll pull it up and keep talking. Keep talking. I got you. Keep talking.
Well, I mean, of course, I feel like Boston College is going to score. I mean, if they just kick a field goal, job well done, right?
I mean, fair, I suppose. This spread is Missouri minus 16.5 as of right now on DraftKings.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
We don't take all the spread. Listen, you can't always guarantee a spread to win you the game in a straight money line pick. However, I think it's telling. In this instance, I do.
The real loser of this game is actually Florida State, and I don't think we should draw our attention any further away from that than what it already is. Florida State sucks, boys. But let's move on.
Oh, they are a bag of hot smashed ass. As Billy Madison once lit a flaming bag of shit on a doorstep, that is Florida State right now. Moving on. This one, Washington and Washington State. Guys, this is a rivalry game, not in the same conference anymore, which is kind of weird. But nonetheless, Washington with Jeb Fish from Arizona, obviously, and then Washington State. Let's see what we got here for our picks. I picked Washington. Keon chose Washington. Everybody chooses Washington except for Kobe. Kobe, what do you see here to say that Washington State will beat Washington?
Yep. spoiling the next pick we're doing, but I'm riding with the Pac-2 this week. I think that Washington State's looked good through the first 2 weeks. Washington hadn't necessarily looked bad. It's at Washington State. It's a rivalry game. I like the way that they're kind of, anytime you have a good team as Washington, it kind of gets gutted the way it did. I mean, head coach, quarterback, receivers, offensive line. I think they replaced all 5 starters on the offensive line this past offseason. I just think that adds up. It catches up to you. And I think, Washington State is going to be pissed that you kind of got left. You got left in the Pac-2. They've run off to the Big Ten. They had a playoff appearance, a national championship appearance. And I just think Washington State gets it done this week.
There you go. Tennille asked about Darius Smith, obviously reverting back to the Missouri game. He is out for the season. I think he tore his ACL, I think it was. He has a season-ending injury, though, so he will not be playing. So there's to answer that comment there. Moving on to our next matchup, guys. I think this is going to be a fun game. It seems to always be the backyard brawl. West Virginia goes to Pitt. Let's see how the results flow. Myself and the Brigade taking Pitt to win in an upset at home. I'll give my justification. I just think that this game, it's never set in stone. This game is very fluid. The last time I picked this game, I think it was a year or 2 ago. I forgot, maybe last year. I picked West Virginia, and they got beat. So prove me that you can go to Pitt and win.
Give me the fighting Pat McAfee's.
Listen, good for you.
Yeah.
No Pat McAfee slander on this show, but I don't know, man. That game I think it's going to be a good game regardless who wins. I just do. For what it's worth, I know people probably, if you're a Bama fan, you remember this name, but Eli Holstein is the starting quarterback now for Pitt. And I know West Virginia has a good team as well. But at the same time, right, they got their shit cooked in by Penn State in week 1 for then Penn State to struggle. So transitive property, I suppose, has me questioning a little bit, right? Just like what we're doing with Florida State earlier. I think this game could go either way. The very tight spread as well for the odds and everything. So take your pick, right? I think y'all went West Virginia. I went Pitt. Brigade goes Pitt. This was just one to just sit back and just watch that unfold and just, if you're a West Virginia fan, tell Pitt to eat shit, right? Just what you do. Moving on to this one, I think this is going to be interesting too, boys. Tulane going to Oklahoma, going to Norman and taking on 15th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma hasn't been looking too hot recently so far this season. Jackson Arnold, things like that need to be worked on for Oklahoma and Brent Venables. Here's what we're looking at now through the picks.
Boomer!
I'm not finishing it, but you know the drill.
Sooner!
That's cool. Thank you. Everyone but Juan, the one and only, decides to go Tulane. I guarantee you his words. Kobe, you probably know where I'm about to go with this. Oklahoma is trash is probably Juan's words. I think I did Juan well there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, there's some teams this week in the Pickems that have a lot to prove. I think Oklahoma is one of them. I mean, it is your own fraud alert this week. Tulane is the perfect team to kind of be that litmus test of like, how good is Oklahoma going to be in year 1 in the SEC? Right now, the trend is I'm not thinking that good. So, obviously, picking them here. Trusting in Venables, I guess. Trusting in the logo on the jersey, maybe a little too much.
Maybe
that SEC patch, not Oklahoma logo, SEC patch. But welcome to SEC.
See what you did there.
Welcome to SEC. We don't expect you to lose these kinds of games
At all.
13.5, boys.
It's a trap game. I'm not gonna lie.
Harry Leggy,
Kansas State all they wanted last week. All they wanted.
Harry Leggy says Tulane covers. That might happen. Tulane. Tulane. Oh, sorry. Let's see. I think that'll be a game. I wouldn't put the money on Oklahoma to cover it until proven otherwise. I'll say that. So
I wouldn't touch that game with any money.
I'm with you. Definitely wouldn't touch that game.
Well, that doesn't bode well for me.
You already put money on it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you
There
do?
you go.
What'd you do?
There you go.
Me, Harrison, Jonathan, and Jeremiah are doing a 4-leg parlay where each one of us contributes a game. And that's the game I went with.
Did you have them covering the spread?
Yes. Well, yeah, you can't.
Shit.
You got to bet spreads. 13 and a
I
half.
didn't know if y'all did over unders or not. Either way,
No. It was
just spread game. Okay.
mm,
Either way, yeah. Kobe's got your fingers crossed for you.
I wanted to take the Notre Dame game, and they told me hell no.
I can't blame them. Civil War, folks. Oregon going to Oregon State. Number 9 ranked Oregon host or going to Oregon State. I think this has very interesting written all over it. Oregon is looking like on fraud alert right now. Through 2 weeks.
This is my opportunity to quote Kobe and say that somebody's on fraud alert, and it's Oregon because they were a trendy pick to play for the national title. They were a lot of quote unquote experts picked to actually win the national championship this year. They thought Dan Lanning could get it done this year with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. And they, like Kobe said with Oklahoma, they have something to prove. They absolutely have something to prove this week.
Well,
I'm back on the Pickems. Here we go. We'll show the Pick'em first, and then I'll go.
Kobe is the solo lone wolf going Oregon State. Now, he did mention that Pac-2, and he is rolling hard with the Pac-2.
Pac-2,
what is going?
Pac-2, I like them both. They're both at home. They're both going to be mad. Biggest upgrade of the offseason for Oregon State, DJU to Tallahassee. Love that.
Oh, my gosh.
I just think again.
Keon just hit him with that right one. It says "Sco Dogs."
Dogs.
This might be the comment of the night.
I think that Oregon is they have kind of sleptwalked through the first 2 weeks. I think they've looked messy. Quarterback play. Who would have thought this podcast would be saying this? They have taken a step back from the quarterback play they had under Bo Nix the past 2 years. I mean, they would be much better off with Bo running that thing right this second. I think it may be some hard questions for Dan Lanning of, do you play a 2-quarterback system a little bit? I think this game will show that. And then I've had some questions about their defense and their physicality, which is something I never thought I would say about Dan Lanning and how they've looked through 2 weeks. I mean, Boise State ran the ball all over them. And, given Boise State probably has a Heisman finalist at running back, but still, at some point, you just got to –
Boise State's a respectable program. Shout out, Boog.
I'm not saying they're not a respectable program, but I'm just saying
Keon knows exactly what the hell I just said and why I said it.
Yeah.
Exactly why.
I'm rolling with the Beavers this week. We'll see.
I just saw that. Well, I just want to understand that I think the comment of the night goes to Harry Leggy. Beavers cover. That's the comment of the night.
Sco Dogs.
Keon saying Sco Dogs. Fair enough. Let's see. Next matchup, guys. This might be the best matchup of the week once all the games are played. I'm just going to put that out there. Number 20, Arizona, traveling to Kansas State and taking on 14th ranked Wildcats. Guys, this game has all the makings of a fucking shootout. Go Dogs. Fair enough. Let's see. Next matchup, guys.
Damn it, boy.
This might be the best. Who is doing this? Who is doing that?
That's me.
Damn it, Dan.
Damn it,
Dan.
Damn it,
My
Dan.
word. My word. It's okay. It's okay. Mistakes happen. Ask Uncle Shannon. Yeah. Anyways, if you don't know, now you know. Let's see. Arizona, Kansas State. Picks. Myself, Kobe, Dan, and the Brigade choosing Kansas State in here. Keon and Juan going Arizona. Right. Listen, I understand. I understand where you're coming here. I understand how you're getting here with this. I'm just saying, I know where you're going with it, but go for it. Let us know.
All right. So here's the thing, right? both of these teams, zero defense, right? So then you just have to look at it. We're just going to cancel out the defense because for this game, doesn't matter. Realistically, the only team, this is who's going to win the game. Whoever is stopped from scoring is going to win the game. All it takes is one drive because these are two offenses that are going to put up points. I'm taking Arizona because clearly out of these two, they have the best quarterback and wide receiver duo. Real simple. Both teams, no defense. It's going to be a lot of scoring. If the over-under on this is 80, I believe it. Like 100%.
Save it, Keon. Save it. Save it. I promise.
This has some legitimate chances to be the ultimate Pac-12 after dark kind of game. Just no defense. Passes are flying, blown coverages left and right. 60-yard bombs in the end zone. Just a real spectator sport kind of a game. I think I like Kansas State.
I'm telling you right now, this game is about to be called the Southern Border. No defense.
Hey, do you know who has the longest winning streak in the country right now?
You tell us.
Put up the graphic. The team on the left, Keon and Juan picked them, but Arizona has the longest winning streak in the country right now.
How many games is that?
I think it's like 8.
Surprise, surprise. I think that game's going to be fun to watch. Like I said, it's like this game.
Genius.
They should probably call this the border wall because there's no defense at all right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of points. Yet again, no stopping, no defense at all. A lot of scoring. All of the points.
So you're saying it's going to be more points than a drunk driver's license?
Probably like 55.
Get back in here on Monday and Arizona wins like 17-14. I'm not coming.
You motherfucker. I'm going to be upset.
I'm not coming.
Yes.
I picked K-State, and I'm not even 100% sure why I did, but
I think the quarterback play. I think
this is the best kind of pick.
He can run the ball. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be.
I don't have a read on this game. I don't. I mean, if you wanted to tell me Arizona's going to win this game, I'd believe you. I mean, this is you're talking about a game you wouldn't touch earlier, the Oklahoma game. This is a game I wouldn't touch. I don't know how to bet this game. I don't know how to bet it. I just, like you said,
take
throw
the over.
Pick them.
Wait a minute. We'll show you. We'll show you later.
This game, mentally, obviously, it's a bad example because, I mean, these are two phenomenal players, but this reminds me of like an Oklahoma Texas Tech kind of game where it's like,
man,
58 to 52, 600 yards of passing both sides.
Was it A&M LSU, that 70-point game? Y'all remember that shit?
Yeah, that was like quad overtime, though. So
7 overtimes. It's fucking wild. Listen, we got 430 people here. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you're watching live.
Hey, we only got 6 likes on YouTube right now. We got to up that number.
That's a rookie number. Fix that shit. Now, to be fair, we got a bunch of folks up on Twitter and X. Make sure you are dropping that follow because we will go live there, obviously, as well. But I do want to show some love to Facebook, some YouTube. Make sure you're liking and subscribing there, too. This is going to be fun, folks. Alabama. 4th-ranked Alabama goes to Wisconsin and takes on those Badgers.
We ain't got to waste time on this. We all took Alabama, and they are going to beat the absolute dog shit out of these guys. Like, they have TVD for quarterback. We're not, like, come on.
And if you're not familiar who TVD is, it stands for Tyler Van Dukey. Van Dukey?
Yeah.
You didn't have to. You didn't have to do the man like that.
Yes, it did. Goddamn right, he deserves it. Sorry.
Like that.
What's next?
Hey, look, Paul. Hey, Paul. We're getting on a plane this week, Paul, and we're going all the way up there, Paul. And you know what's going to happen? Alabama's going to win because Alabama's going to win. That's what happens, Paul. We get on a plane and we win the ball game. All right, Paul? And whatever our coach's name is, I don't even know it. I don't even know his coach's name yet. But we got Jalen Milroe. Let's go, Jalen.
Yeah. Welcome to Dan Rant. Bama Dan. That's what it sounds like. I'm not all about that. I'm not mad at all about it. Listen, they played like shit all but 6 minutes of the game. But 6 minutes of the game, I want you to understand, for the Bama fans that think I'm shitting on you, I am not. I'm telling you that you have the potential to be one of the most explosive teams in the country. You scored 25 points, I think it was, in 6 minutes.
Dude, Ryan Williams is kind of crazy.
Oh, that boy's good.
He could have a crazy day up there.
Dude, he's younger than my son, and my son is a junior in high school.
Well, he reclassified, but yes. Either way, we all chose Alabama in this game. I expect them to right some wrongs. Their mistakes and their blemishes from South Florida are now on tape. Fix it, move on. They got to have that good momentum heading into the bye week for them as well. I'm just going to let that be known. Georgia, Kentucky, guys, you're here for the Kentucky game review or the preview, excuse me. Ain't nothing changed, folks. It's Dawgs on top. All right, it's Dawgs on top. I don't know how else to say it, gentlemen. Keon, do you want to explain to these folks what we could see on how this game goes Saturday? Because I think you already did, but people might, we got a bunch of new listeners in since then, so I need you to explain to folks what might be seeing Saturday.
So it's going to be a whole lot of belt to ass action, right? Really, it's all in the wrist. That's just really it. We just going to take off on them, to be all the way honest. I got us winning the game. We all got us winning. And really, the game plan on the defensive side is really to suffocate Brock as most as we possibly can. So outside of that, score points, make sure they don't score points. Kirby said it best. Shit's easy. Just got to go out there and execute.
Yeah, the one thing you guys hadn't said yet tonight is, do you think they covered the 24.5?
We'll save that too. Listen, save it too. I'm trying to keep all these spreads, all these different things, because we have best bets, Dan, and we're going to explain it. We'll explain it. Do y'all want to give a score prediction before we get into to the final?
Before we get to best bets, I do want to say that best bets was put together by the guy who's in dead last place.
That motherfucker went 4-2 last week too on best bets, but continue.
Ooh.
I did. I made the fucking graphic. I went 4-2.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah. So, yeah. If people use my graphic, they made some money last week. So there you go. Anyways, last game, Jaden's game of the week. LSU, South Carolina. Game day in Columbia, first time in a decade, I believe. 16th ranked Tigers against a Shane Beamer led Beamer ball team. 2-0 for what it's worth. Let's see what we think on how this game's going to play out.
You have no idea how long You have no idea how long it took me for me to realize that was an actual fucking chicken. I was like, what in the fuck was that? For the longest of time. I really hate that I just admitted that with 400+ people. But I'm like, oh, it's just like a monster or something. But why do they call it a gamecock? It's just like, and then I found out and I was like, holy shit, they are horrible.
Did it click for you why the rooster crows in the stadium too all of a sudden?
And why they've got a chicken as a mascot?
Yeah. I mean, he's doing the
rattling the cage. Cage.
It's like this giant light bulb went off. Yeah.
I'm gonna eat that chicken alive.
First things first. Harry Leggy says easy. I say not so fast. Listen, LSU against Nichols could not run the football. Could not.
I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
LSU is going to have to run the football effectively to win this game. I know Nuss and Kyron Lacey. I don't trust LSU's defense yet. And listen, I think Dylan Stewart could wreak havoc on this LSU offense. Kid is a freak. But Kobe's shaking his head.
You got 2 first-round tackles at LSU.
Tell me why Dylan Stewart could make some money this week.
For
Dylan
that
Stewart
exact
could
reason, but I'm just saying it is.
I mean,
Even
fair.
if he has 2 sacks, I mean
That's still good. That's still good for a freshman.
it would be
Third game.
unbelievable. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think so. That's what really makes me nervous about this game, is because this game should be a lot closer than what it is. Because I could very easily see LSU losing this game. Because if I'm gonna be honest with you, if South Carolina come out there with the game plan of, hey, we're gonna throw Stewart at you every single way we possibly can, and couple that with some blitz packages, and then get on offense and just say, hey, Nicholas Harbor got to be down there somewhere, jackpot touchdown in the air, and
I gotta counter that, Keon. Nicholas Harbor has 0 targets, 0 catches.
so just because he doesn't have the targets doesn't mean that he can't get open and create space.
Bro, they ain't even looking for him.
Here's my biggest.
I'm telling you what a game plan could be for them to win.
Here's
I'm
my
not
biggest
saying
thing.
they're going to actually be smart and follow said game plan. I'm just saying that it's out there.
We'll do speed scenario, the 4 of us here. The biggest way you think South Carolina could win, the biggest way you think LSU could win.
Okay.
I think South Carolina has the best chance of winning because Brian Kelly is the head coach at LSU.
Yes.
I worry about his ability to panic under pressure, to call a good game. I've seen him time and time again at Notre Dame. It just struggles at times. I see LSU's biggest positive also being kind of the same vein of like Beamer getting stuck in Beamer ball, going for it on a 4th down, faking something or trying to get a big shot play early, and all of a sudden you're behind 14-0 where you should have maybe punted, maybe you kick that field goal, you do some small things. I always worry about trying to prove a point in games like this instead of taking the points. It's something that's cost coaches in the past. It's cost Brian Kelly. It's cost Dan Lanning.
Lane Kiffin.
Lane Kiffin. I think at some point you can't get caught up in the underdog story here. You got to go out. You have to play your brand of football if you're South Carolina, and you got to take what LSU's giving you. I think that's kind of a recipe of disaster for both teams.
Harry says Harbor is an edge rusher, not a receiver. Are you sure about that? If that's a mistake, I think he needs to be a receiver, in my opinion. Dude is way too fast for that.
Ooh.
I guess Harry's saying that Nicholas Harbor is an edge rusher, not a receiver, but he needs to be a receiver, in my opinion. That kid is a freak. Either way.
No, look, for South Carolina to win, we have seen in the past that South Carolina can have a tremendous home field advantage. You remember the game where Georgia went up there? We were down 14-0 before we got off the damn bus. I mean, that place was rocking. It was loud. You couldn't hear. You couldn't think. And that place has historically been a home to some pretty big upsets in the past. So it's possible. But like for me, looking at this game is like if the LSU bus shows up at the right stadium at the right time, I really feel like LSU is going to win this football game. They just have a talent advantage across the board. And I hear you on the Brian Kelly stuff. I tend to give Brian Kelly a little bit of credit because I don't think he's near as bad a coach as some people like to make him out to be. And I'm not poking at you or anything like that. I don't think he's a terrible football coach, but I do hear you and I do recognize and acknowledge that when they get in a tight ball game, sometimes he nuts up. And he's got a talent advantage. I think you said it best when you said, don't get in your own way. Like, don't put yourself in trouble. Just play your football game.
I think, and I don't want to get mixed up here, I don't think Brian Kelly's a bad coach. I just worry, no different, like it'd be saying like Mark Richt's a bad coach. I don't think that either. I just think sometimes in big moments and big games, Kirby Smart has had the same thing happen. Panic sets in. All of a sudden, you're worried we have to do something more than what you really have to do. I think I've seen him do that. I just have seen him do that. I think
like overcoach.
Yes, overcoach.
I agree. And he's 100% done that in the past. He did it this past weekend.
I don't know. I think if I'm South Carolina, I force them to run the ball. light boxes, force them to commit to running the ball. And once they commit and they can do it effectively, then you kind of game plan around that.
My question would be, do they have the ability to force LSU to be one-dimensional? I don't know that their secondary is good enough to force LSU to be one-dimensional.
You damn well try. I'm sorry. Listen, if LSU can't run the ball effectively,
I'll try to win the lottery tomorrow.
Okay, guess what? I'm fair with you, but I'm just saying. Listen, you have to feel that you're better than Nicholls State, right? So if you're Shane Beamer,
did you watch that Old Dominion game?
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, I think you got to try something. You got to scheme it to where you try to force them to open the run game up. If they start to do that and it becomes effective, then you go from there. Until they can show the commit to the run, I would sit there and do light boxes and just go from there. At the same time, maybe getting pressure to Nuss is probably another key thing you can do too. But I mean, that's just my thoughts. I think if you're LSU,
that's what we're asking for. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So I think, okay, Harry says LSU rushing is -2 yards per game. Damn. I hope that ain't no typo. Jesus Christ.
-2. You telling me they didn't have any rushing yards against USC?
Well, I get. Well, to be fair, the sacks count as rushing yards. So that might be a thing. So that's why it's kind of skewed. If that is a reason, that's probably why.
Yeah, I may need a fact check on that.
I'm with you. Let's see. All right, so those are the picks of the week. We'll put up the graphic here for you. Actually, let me rephrase this. Wait a minute. Forgot upsets and locks. Locks of the week. I've got Ole Miss -23.5 on the road against Wake Forest. Kobe, you've got Texas locked at -34 over UTSA. Dan, you've got Oklahoma -13.5 over Tulane. When Dan did that, he gave me the number. So we are going with that. Keon has surprisingly forfeited the locks and the upsets. Forfeiting the picks means that you get nothing. You wash. So you do not have the opportunity to gain points. However, you also don't have the willingness to lose points as well.
Juan as well. All of these unders hit.
This motherfucker. You hear this? This guy. Upset alert. I'm putting UCF on upset alert. I've got TCU at home hitting that +2.5. Kobe, you've got Jacksonville State to upset Eastern Michigan with a +2. Dan, you're doubling down on this. You got the Gators upsetting A&M at home +3.5. I think that'll be interesting. Dan's doubling down on the Gators.
The double down Dan.
Oh boy. You know how we feel about the Gators around here, though. It is #Gator garbage. But you know, it is what it is. Here's a look of the picks for the week for those that need to see everything in recap. Let's see what happens come game day, right? This time next week. We'll be sitting here looking to see who's up there right there. But we promise you the best bets. If you're sitting here and you're listening to this and you're trying to get some money, what's that?
LSU had 113 yards rushing against USC, so I don't see. There's no way they have a -2 yard average.
He corrected it in there.
I don't have I don't have the thing on.
So so it's 2 yards per carry, not yards per game. Okay, got it. All right, so here's a best bets I've put together for the week. These are bets that I feel that if you're trying to make some money, I feel like you feel pretty confident in these. I'll list these off right here. I got Georgia -24. Listen, this game is going to get ugly in my opinion. I think Georgia covers the spread. I don't trust the over-under. The over-under the total was 45. Don't really feel comfortable with that. I will push Georgia to cover that spread. Same thing being said with Ole Miss. 23.5 against Wake Forest. Wake Forest is freaking terrible. So there you go. I've got Pitt winning money line at home against West Virginia. That's risky, but it's a high risk, high reward. Texas -35 against UTSA. Guys, I feel confident in that lock right there. Keon, you talked about this earlier. Kansas State versus Arizona. Smash that over 58.5. Smash it. it should hit. There should be no question about it.
Yeah, both of those teams are scoring 30 points at least each.
And to the contrary, and wrapping up the sixth and final pick here, if you're looking for a game where you want to bet the under, I would suggest Memphis, Florida State, and we've got DJ Ugabaduki to thank for that. So these are the best bets for week 3. Any thoughts on those guys? Those feels like people can make some money off that, I would think. What do you think?
Could you put the graphic back up?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the Arizona game, I like that. The over. Memphis, I like that one. As far as the under goes, I still think that West Virginia is going to win. I don't know. I do think for some reason that Texas game, you said 35 for the under. I like that. I do like that.
No, I've got covering the spread. So you're seeing Texas cover that 35-point spread. I think
okay.
I think they're clicking too much for me to not feel comfortable with that. They have smashed the over. There was one. I think Tennessee's another team so far. Tennessee, their spread this week I think was 49, but even then they have killed the over and they have covered the spread with huge spreads. Didn't feel confident enough to put a 49-point spread there in the situation, but I do think that, and honestly, listen, I'm kind of going a little bit with my heart here. I think Pitt just upsets them at home. Listen, I hit the Duke money line. Duke money line was easy money last week for those that put the money on that. So if you put money on that, you're welcome. That called that game. That was my upset pick, and it hit.
I don't feel as comfortable as you do about that Georgia line at 24. I mean, I could see this be a 31-10, and then they're just happy with that.
You know what? To be fair, I just don't know if they have the ability to score like that, though, Dan. I'm looking at that situation. I just don't know if they can move the ball enough.
Kirby doesn't blow people out. I mean, he doesn't he's not interested in the line. I think I'm not Jay Will's really good with the lines and stuff like that, but I don't know what Kirby's record is against the spread.
Hold on,
I don't think it's great.
Hold on, I got
they
you.
didn't cover last week.
Okay, that was also a 54.5-point spread.
But I'm saying
54.5.
He's not interested in that. Once Kirby knows he's won the game, he shuts it down. Unless
this is also an SEC opponent too. So keep that in mind. I'm going to do this so we won 51-13 last year against Kentucky. 51-13.
Okay. Okay. I mean.
Also,
if it's not if it's not raining, like Weatherman Keon said, I do like the spread a lot more than with like Dan saying. If there is an ounce of a chance, my only argument to spreads, especially with Kirby this year, and the reason I wouldn't touch a ton of Georgia games, and this is just me personally bouncing off something Dan said. I think that health is more important this year. Because Kirby said it, your lack of depth, your lack of longevity, you're having to play some big games down the stretch. You are not going to get bent out of shape trying to prove a point against Kentucky. You're going to go up to Kroger. You're going to win. You're going to get on a plane. You're going to get back to Athens. You're going to enjoy your week off, get healthy. And you run a gauntlet between bye week to bye week. Like it is a tough stretch.
Even coming off the second bye, which we'll talk about later. I'll say this for the Georgia game, if this might be a last minute play. I don't know if Vegas will put the money down and buy that down less. If you feel like teasing that, go for it. I don't know what the tease would look like there, but if you can get around -20 or something like that right there, I think that's definitely a push for that. Now, Kobe, if it rains, I think you could look at the under on that. I think keep in mind this speed and clock, guys, like you said, it could be a situation if there's a lot of rain, there might be a situation in which they push to just run the ball, get ahead, run, sit on the ball, go from there. I just don't get that feeling. I feel more confident putting a spread on it. I just don't see – I see a lot of 3-and-outs for Kentucky. and that means more opportunity for the offense.
Hey,
I think the way that
gotta
Georgia
pick
covers
6
is,
of them.
I feel like the way that Georgia covers that spread is they get up early. They
That's
go
what
up
I'm saying.
quick and
I
early,
think
like 28-0 right out of the gate.
It can
Belt
happen.
ass.
It could easily happen. Yeah. So those are the best bets for the week. You'll see those on social media. Feel free to use them and let us know if you win some money. See if I'm smart enough to win people some money. It'd be cool. Like I said, I was 4-2 last week. That Duke money line hit like crack in the 80s. So there's that, folks. Guys, any final thoughts? Guys, we've got 511 people watching between all of the platforms. Make sure you do us a favor. Smash that like button. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, there's so many people on X right now. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, just do us a favor. Head over there and subscribe. Just DGD. You can go to DGDpodcast.com and you'll show all of our situations where you can go follow us on YouTube. Just do that for us. I want to see how many people actually listen to what we say. We'll see. Harry Leggy did say 20% chance of rain. So
not by my calculations.
I was about to say Chief Meteorologist Keon K. Is that 20% worth sweating over or not?
Not at all.
Sun's
going to be out. It's going to be an overcast a little bit.
Sun's out, guns out. Okay. I like it. We'll take your word for it. Meteorologist is the only feels like the only profession where you can be wrong and still be right at the same time because it don't matter.
Right.
But either way, any final thoughts on this Kentucky game before game day, guys?
Georgia wins. Hopefully we come out healthy. Let's get the dub.
Yep. Just happy football's back. Another fun weekend. Gearing up week 3 and then just avoiding wedding season for as long as you possibly can.
Do you have any weddings coming up at all during the season?
Auburn weekend.
Are you serious?
Listen, this is my weekly reminder to enjoy it because you only get so many of these, and so we look forward to the next game so much that we forget to take advantage of the games that we get and just enjoy it. Enjoy watching it and enjoy rooting on the Bulldogs. And we are in a glorious time as a Bulldog fan. I mean, you guys aren't as old as me, but it was lean years. It was lean years, boys. For a long time, there were some lean years. So this is the greatest time to be alive as a Georgia fan, and I just stress that you guys should enjoy the hell out of it.
I'm just gonna say this: Publix is better than Kroger. Pub subs for the win. Just let it be known for all your Kroger folks out there. We don't have Krogers in North Carolina.
I worked at Kroger for 4 years, baby.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they're about to get belt ass.
You help pay for that field.
Mm-hmm.
Round of applause here.
Self-checkout, boys.
Yeah, self-checkout, boys. About to be belt ass on the self-checkout, boys. With that being said, make sure to like, follow, rate, subscribe, review. If you listen to us on podcast, make sure to shout out the Alumni Hall folks. Guys, they keep us going. Get yourself geared up with Alumni Hall, folks. Just go check them out. And with that being said, have a great night. We will see y'all next week, hopefully with the third victory of the season when the Dawgs take on the self-checkout boys in Kentucky. With that being said, have a great rest of your day.